Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Let's Cap It with me, your host, Jamal Watkins. Thank God we've made it to the weekend, y'all. It's a beautiful Friday where I am, and I'm so thankful that there is no snow on the ground. Woo, Lord, thank you. Speaking of being thankful, that's kind of one of the things that we're going to talk about. But we're not just going to talk about being thankful, but we're going to talk about venting, complaining, and gossiping. So let's get on with the business of why we're here. So we want to talk about venting, complaining, and gossiping because I'm sure, like yourself or like me, you've vented before, you've definitely complained, and you did a little gossiping too. Now, we want to talk about it because when you're looking at either one of those, I want to draw your attention to the 120th number of Psalms, and particularly look at those first 4 verses. Now, for the sake of time, I want you to go and read it. But the one verse in the 120th number of Psalms says that I cried unto the Lord. Now, when you are venting, when you're complaining, when you are gossiping, are you going to the Lord about what you're venting about what you're complaining about what you're gossiping about? Are you crying unto the Lord? Are you telling God about this situation? Are you snitching to the Lord about this situation? Let's look at what it means to vent. So you can go and get your more academic definition on venting, complaining, and gossiping. I looked it up and I just want to generalize what either of them means. So when you're looking at venting or to vent, that means it's something where gas or air goes through. So gas and air goes through your body, right? Air goes through your nose, comes out of your mouth, and we know where gas comes from. Okay. And depends on the type of air that you breathe and the type of gas that comes out. Could be bad. Now, when you are venting, typically when a person vents, they are releasing themselves of bad energy, bad situations, stressful situations, negative situations, a lot of that you can add to those descriptions when you are venting. And pretty much when a person vents, they are venting to another person, or depends on what the situation is, you might be venting to people. Now, the whole point of when a person vents is to be relieved of that negative energy, to be relieved of that stress, that frustration, that irritation, that annoyance. You want to get it off you because it bothers you. It gets on your last nerve. You heard me? But we have to be understanding that when we are venting, what are you going to do once you've vented? All right, so you've called your bestie, you've called your family member, you've talked to somebody, you've gotten on social media, and you've gone on your rant or venting. And what has come of that once you've ranted or vented? Okay, you've gotten it out, but guess what? You have shared that negative energy with other persons. Psalms 120:1 says, I cried to the Lord. So instead of going and venting and ranting to other people, why didn't you just go to the Lord? All right, let's talk about complaining. Now, to complain means that you're basically dissatisfied. You don't like the situation. You don't like the person based on what they've done. And so you talk about it negatively. Okay, sometimes constructive criticism can be good because it can provide and promote growth. But when you just straight up critical about a person in a situation, then that doesn't promote growth. It basically breaks people down, breaks down situations. And there have been times that you have complained. There have been times that I've been complaining. I wasn't satisfied with a situation. I wasn't satisfied with a person in the situation. So I complained. Yes, I did. And you know what? Typically, there may be a just cause, a good reason for complaining. But if you just complaining, if you just talking out the side of your neck for no apparent reason, okay, it may be okay, but you're talking about it negatively and you're not really doing anything constructive and positive to make it better, then why don't you do what Psalms 120 verse 1 says? Cry out unto the Lord. If you are dissatisfied with a situation, go to God. He can change it, and leave it with the Lord so that he does. And lastly, let's talk about gossiping. Like, Lord have mercy. Woo! If you have ever gossiped, If you have ever heard gossip, if you've been around where gossip has been going on and you just listen and you just say that is gossip, is gossip. Now, when you think about the definition of gossip, and like I said, I'm giving you a generalized definition of either of these words, but gossip basically is giving you information about a person, situation that could or may not be true. Now, I said it could or could not or may not be true. It just depends on the listener. It just depends on the messenger. So the listener has to determine if what they're hearing is true, and the messenger has to determine if they want to give what they think or may not be true. Basically, it's still bad. Basically, it's still not good. I want to draw your attention to Psalms 120, the third verse. Now, the third and the fourth verse talks about the deceptive tongue. And a lot of times, folks, when you are gossiping, what you saying, it may have some truth, but it also may have some lies. So what are you going to do? Tell a little bit of both? No. Go back to the first verse in Psalms 120 and cry unto the Lord. Matter of fact, the Bible talks about corrupt communication, and that none should come out of your mouth. So if you are gossiping by the name and in the name of the Lord, I tell you, stop that. Gossip is not good. Matter of fact, complaining isn't good. And although venting relieves you of stress and frustration and all that other negative, that needs to go to the Lord, not to your friends, not to your family, not to your coworkers, not to anyone else. And although you may feel better when you've done it, that negative energy, those negative spirits have now gone to other people and have now jumped on their back. And if they're not strong enough, they're taking on, you have just transferred that negative spirit onto them, and then they're going to carry it somewhere else. No. As I wrap up my cap, cry to the Lord. Go to the Lord. Talk to the Lord about what you want to vent about. Talk to the Lord about your complaint. Don't gossip at all. Trust me, gossiping is like the worst thing you can do, and complaining is up there with it. But if you do have a situation where you want to rant, if you do have a situation where you want to vent, cry out unto God. Let God handle this situation and leave it in his hands to handle it. If you're not satisfied with how the government is going right now, look at 2 Chronicles 7:14. Check it out. If you're not satisfied with where our government is going and where your neighborhood is going and where the leaders in this country or world are going, go to God. Let God handle this, because guess what? He knows. All right, so that wraps it up for me right here on Let's Cap It. Thank you for chiming in on our YouTube channel. We've been here this coming April for almost 3 years. So God willing, in April, we will be here for 3 years. And we've been Watkins Pentecost Ministries this coming August for 3 years. So thank God for this 3rd year in ministry here on social media. We pray that each of you are being blessed. We hope that you like and share and even hopefully subscribe to our YouTube channel, and also check us out. We're back on TikTok, y'all. Yes, we are. Pentecost.men. Check us out. And of course, we're still on Instagram. So, hey, if you're going to vent to God, but stop complaining and definitely stop gossiping. You heard me? Right here on Let's Cap It.